Bonjour and welcome to Friday's writing lesson.
Before we begin, let's take a look at some of the writing that you've been sending in this week. We've been so impressed with the quality of the writing, and we've seen that everyone's been trying really hard to include a varied range of fronted adverbials in their writing. Let's take a look at Alfie and Simmerpreet's work from 4B. Alfie has included some fantastic conjunctions to extend his sentences. He's used and because in his writing, and he's also used but. Well done, Alfie. Simmerpreet has used some excellent words to describe how Ahmet would have been feeling: anxious, thrilled and nervous. She's also included but in her sentence. Well done, Simmerpreet. Noah and Madison in 4S have also done a wonderful job. I really like how Noah has gone back and edited his work with his purple pen. I love how Madison has included an expanded noun phrase in her diary writing, an old dirty boat. That's really adding great description, Madison. Well done. Here we've got some diary entries from Matthew and Ruby. Matthew's used some excellent fronted adverbials of time here. First, all of a sudden, just then, and finally. Well done, Matthew, for varying the fronted adverbials you're using. And I can tell Ruby's thought really carefully about what words she's using to describe Ahmet's feelings: positive and blue. Well done, Matthew. And finally, we have Archie and Georgia from 4EP. Archie's used the conjunction because to really explain his feelings. And Georgia's used her knowledge of apostrophes of contraction in her writing as well. Well done, Georgia and Archie.
This week we have heard some of Malak's story about her journey from Syria to Europe. Hearing this has helped us to get a better understanding of what happened to Ahmet, our character in our story. Today we will find out what happened at the end of Malak's journey. This will help us to get an idea of what might have happened to Ahmet at the end of his journey across the sea and how he might have been feeling as he got closer and closer to land in Europe. So we're going to be continuing to write our diary entry today, and we're going to be continuing to look at fronted adverbials of place, time and manner in our writing today. So, what has happened to Malak so far? First of all, she set off on her boat journey from Syria. Then, as she was travelling across the ocean, the weather got very stormy as she started to cross the ocean. Before we find out what happened next to Malak, let's reread our diary entry so far. Dear Diary, my name is Ahmet and I lived in a country called Syria. I went on a boat to get to Europe because my home was not safe. I was feeling anxious about leaving my home, but hopeful for my new life in Europe. I was feeling frightened as I didn't know what the journey would be like. First, water started to get in the boat. All of a sudden, I got sprayed with icy, salty water. Before long, I started to feel cold. Eventually, I start to feel very scared. In the distance, the lightning flashed. All around me, the wind rushed. High in the sky, the gloomy, threatening clouds rumbled. So, now we've recapped what's already happened to Ahmet and Malak, let's find out what happened next on Malak's journey.
وترفع عندك كان صلاة ما ضل حدا. اسمي ملاك، عمري 7 سنين.
Today, you are going to apply your knowledge of fronted adverbials to write the next part of Ahmet's diary independently. In your writing, you are going to need to include
a fronted adverbial of time, a fronted adverbial of place, and a fronted adverbial of manner. So it's a chance to show off what you have learnt this week about fronted adverbials.
Before we start writing, I think we need to get back in our boat and act out the final part of Ahmet's journey. Are you ready? Go and get your boat. It's much calmer now the storm has passed. The sea is less wavy, the wind and rain is gone, and the sun's coming out, so it's getting a bit warmer. There's lots of water in the boat after the storm. I think I should try and get some out. Oh, that's better. Hopefully I can start to dry now. I hope my dad and the people I'm with are okay. It really was a terrible storm. I hope my dad didn't get too scared in it. Oh, I think I can see land over there far away. I think we might be getting closer to our destination. Hope we get there soon. I'm not sure where we're going though.
So, we need to think of some fronted adverbials we could use to open up our sentences in the final section of our diary. Let's start with fronted adverbials of time. So, what has just happened to Malak? Well, the storm has just finished. So, one of the fronted adverbials we could say is after the storm. You could be even more specific about when the storm finished. You could maybe say in the morning or in the evening. Or even give a specific day or time. For example, on Tuesday. Or any other day of the week. Remember, Malak and Ahmet's journey across the sea would have taken a good few days and the storm probably went on a while. So you could say later or eventually. So these are all some examples of fronted adverbials of time that you could use in the next part of our diary entry to describe what happened after the storm. If you want to jot any of these ideas down to help you with your writing today, pause the video now. Now let's have a little think about some fronted adverbials of place that we could use in our writing today. So let's think about where things happened. We could put in the boat, as even though the storm has finished, that's where we still are. Ahmet and Malak haven't quite yet got to Europe and to land at this point. When we were acting out, we noticed that the weather had changed and the sun came out. So we could say something like in the sky or across the water to describe the sun and the other changes in the weather. As we were sailing along in our boat, we then saw land start to appear, so we could describe where that was. Maybe our sentence could start with far away or north of where we were to give specific examples about where you started to see the land. If you would like to use any of these fronted adverbials in your writing today, pause the video to jot them down. Now let's have a think about how we would have been feeling or how we would have done things at this part of the journey across the sea. We have just experienced a horrible storm, so we will probably be feeling very tired, or we could say drained at this point. And we would probably still be feeling very scared about the rest of the journey, so we could say terrified. These are both feelings which you looked carefully with Miss Bridgewater this week when you were looking at fronted adverbials of manner. These fronted adverbials of manner end in ed. However, it is also possible to have a fronted adverbial of manner that ends in ly. We have looked at some of these words before. For example, you could have a fronted adverbial of manner which is bravely. Rather than how Ahmet was feeling, using the fronted adverbial bravely would tell us how he did something. For example, after the storm, Ahmet might have bravely looked around the boat to check that everyone was okay. Or he might have carefully started to tip some of the water out of the boat that had gotten in during the storm. Or he might have apprehensively checked to see that his mum, sister and dad were still there. We could also use ly fronted adverbials like curiously or anxiously. So today in your writing, you could have a little go at trying to use a fronted adverbial of manner that is an ly word to describe how Ahmet might have done something. You can use the fronted adverbial of manner word mat up here to help you. I will also show you that again to help you with your writing today. Now we have gathered some ideas of fronted adverbials to use, it's time to start writing the final section of Ahmet's diary. Think carefully about what would have happened to Malik and Ahmet and how they would have felt at this point of their journey. I'm going to write down some of my ideas as a my turn first, and then it will be your turn to finish the diary entry.
Okay, so I'm going to start my writing with the fronted adverbial of time, and I want to choose in the evening because my storm was all night, all day, and then it started to die down in the evening. So I'm going to put in, nice capital I, in the evening, comma, I'm going to say the storm passed, remembering my past tense, the storm passed, so I need that ed ending, and then I'm going to put a conjunction in my writing here to extend my sentence. In the evening the storm passed and I'm thinking back to when we were in the boat acting it out. What happened? Well, the sun started to come out, so I'm going to say and the sun came out. Full stop. So that's my fronted adverbial of time. In the evening, the storm passed and the sun came out. What fronted adverbial should I use next? I'm going to use a fronted adverbial of manner, and I'm going to try and put one of those ly fronted adverbials of manner that we've looked at today. So I remember when I was acting out in the boat, I was worried about my family and the people who were travelling with me, so I looked around to check that my dad was okay. So I'm going to put anxiously, capital A, N, and we don't join into the X. And anxiously is my fronted adverbial. So what do I need, everybody? A comma, that's right, well done. So anxiously, that's another word for worried. I was feeling quite worried at this point. Anxiously, I checked on my dad to see if he was okay. And I'm going to put a full stop at the end of that sentence. So I've done a fronted adverbial of time, done a fronted adverbial of manner, so I now need to do a fronted adverbial of place. Now I remember when I was in my boat and we were sailing along after the storm, in the distance I could see something, I could see some land. Now that land was really far away, so I'm going to put far away as my fronted adverbial of place because that's explaining where the land was. So far away, and I need my comma there, far away I saw land appear. Or I saw, how could I describe that land? It looked quite mountainous to me, so I'm going to say I saw mountainous land start to appear. So far away I saw, now I don't think I'm going to fit it there, so I'm going to go down here, mountainous land start to appear. And I think that's the end of my sentence. I'm going to put a full stop. Far away, I saw mountainous land start to appear. So now it's your turn to have a go at writing the final part of Ahmet's diary entry.
So here are our Chili challenges for today. Chili 1, I want you to use a fronted adverbial of place, time and manner in your writing. Now I'm not going to give you a scaffold to help you today, so look back at the work you've done throughout the rest of the week to help you with your writing today.
Chili 2, I want you to use a wider range of fronted adverbials and punctuate them correctly. So see if you can use different ones today than you have already. And Chili 3, your challenge is to use fronted adverbials to finish off the diary and then tell the rest of the story. What do you think happened next to Ahmet as he arrived in Europe? On the next page, I will show you the word maps for fronted adverbials of time, place and manner, which you can pause on to help you with your writing today. Here are the word maps to help you with your writing today. Have a go at trying to vary the fronted adverbials that you've used, especially the fronted adverbials of manner. Have a go at using some ly words that we've learnt about today. Pause the video now and finish your diary entry. When you have finished it, we'd love to see it, so please send a copy to the Year 4 email address. Some of your writing may even appear in next week's lesson video so everyone else can see how hard we've all been working. Well done, Year 4. Bye-bye.